Tutors, your one-stop shop for all things Magic the Gathering. I'm Colton, also known as Pez.
And I'm Oblivion. So, what are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about the Magic the Gathering color wheel.
The color wheel.
And mana,
And how?
corresponding with said colors and a wheel.
Ooh, that sounds fancy. Teach me things.
What would you like to know first?
I think a good place to start would probably be, what is mana?
Mana is what lets you cast your spells. Well, at least most of them.
Okay, so it's like the whole bitch. Like, that's what you need.
Tap your mana, play your cards.
Okay, alright. So you have to have mana in order to be able to play your cards 9 times out of 10.
I would say most of the time, yeah. There are a lot of cards that cost 0 mana, though.
So I need mana, right? And I need to be able to make mana to be able to cast my spells, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think I have a pretty good idea of the stuff that makes mana. Can you tell me if I'm forgetting anything? Okay, so lands.
Ding, ding, ding.
Artifacts that you cast that you can later tap for mana.
Yes.
I think most people call them mana rocks.
Yes.
Okay. Then there's creatures that you can cast and then later tap them to add mana.
Yes.
Okay. And then I think people call them mana nerds.
Sure.
Potato tomato, right?
No.
And then there's treasures, which are like a token that you can use to add a color whenever you have one. We figured out what mana is, the fact that we need it to be able to cast our spells. So what kinds of mana are there?
So there are the 5 colors of Magic the Gathering. White, blue, black, red, green. There's also colorless, hybrid mana, and X spells.
What about that really cool one that I've seen a lot on some of the new cards that's like a circle with a line through it?
Oh, that's Phyrexian mana.
Ooh, okay. All right. Okay, so the colors, right?
Right.
White, blue, black, red, and green.
All 5 of them.
All 5 of them. A lot of people call that Wooburg.
Absolutely.
Okay. So those seem pretty understandable, right? If I have an island that makes blue, right? A lot of those make a lot of sense. But what about colorless? Do I have to have specific, like, colorless lands? Do they make those? How do I make colorless mana?
There's lots of different ways to make colorless mana. A lot of your artifacts will tap for colorless mana, say for Soul Ring or Mana Crypt. There's also lands first previewed when they changed colorless mana from just being a circle with a number in it to the waste symbol.
And that's like the diamond, right?
Yes,
Is it a
it's the
diamond?
Diamond.
Could you have like colorless lands?
Yes, a lot of lands actually tap for colorless. Wastes, which came out in Oath of the Gatewatch, kind of revamped the whole colorless situation. I could list off a whole bunch of different lands that can tap for colorless. I would say that Waste is your basic land for colorless, though.
Okay. So maybe I should ask my question differently. So let's say I want to cast a spell that's 1 colorless and 1 blue, but I only have 2 islands available. How am I supposed to pay for that colorless mana?
When the pips are represented on the card, if it does not have that diamond shape in it, that means it does not require a waste mana, aka a true colorless. You can tap both of those islands to cast your spell.
Okay, alright, so if there's a gray circle with a number in it, then I can use any color to cast it.
Any color.
Okay. But it's just called colorless because I can also use colorless for it.
Correct.
But I can't use colorless for colored stuff, right?
Correct. You cannot tap a colorless. You cannot tap something that produces colorless mana and cast, say, Mana Drain. You can't tap your Soul Ring for 2 colorless to cast your 2 blue pipped spell.
Okay. And the pips, those are like the little icons in the corner of the card, right?
Right. Those are your indicators for how much mana that your card costs.
Okay. And we're definitely going to like tell the people about cards and stuff soon, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So we talked about the Wooburgs, the tip of the Wooburg. We talked about colorless. Now there's hybrid. And I think, if I remember right, hybrid's the one where it's like a circle and it's got like a line diagonal through it and it'll have like one color on one side and one color on another most of the time.
Correct.
In that, like, they were trying to just save space, and if there's a blue and a white split into the circle, that I have to have both?
No. You only have to have one of each kind of those mana. So say you had a card, let's say Kitchen Finks. Kitchen Finks is a colorless and hybrid mana green white, hybrid mana green white. So say that you had 3 lands on the battlefield. You had 1 green, 1 white, and 1 that did tap for a colorless per se. You could cast your Kitchen Finks because in the hybrid mana, you're only required one of those colors in the hybrid mana pip.
Okay. So, like, I kind of think of it as, like, the diagonals, like an either-or kind of thing.
It is an either-or.
Casting Luris of the Dream Den, you could either, for the hybrid ones, use white or black, right?
Right, you could pay 3 white, 3 black, or a combination of the 2.
Okay, awesome. So I feel like that's pretty much it for hybrid. It either or, this or this.
Either or.
Now tell me about the really pretty mana that has been floating around with the cool symbol, Phyrexian.
So Phyrexian mana, previewed back in the day in New Phyrexia, it is it's a circle with a line through it, and so say that the circle with the line, the Phyrexian symbol is red. Say Gut Shot, for example. Gut Shot is 1 Phyrexian mana. You can either tap a source that produces a red to cast your Gut Shot, or you can pay 2 life from your life source to cast the Gut Shot.
Oh, okay. So it's like, it's kind of like hybrid in that you have a choice. It's an either or, but unlike hybrid, it's either pay the mana with a mana source or pay it in blood.
So yeah, you either pay it in blood per se, or you, whatever color the Phyrexia mana symbol is whatever the color that you have to tap to cast the spell, or you can pay the life. Black, you could either tap your swamp or pay 2 life. If it's red, you can tap your mountain or pay 2 life. If it's green, you can tap your forest and pay 2 life, etc., kind of thing.
So, and each pip, each little symbol on the card, when it's Phyrexian mana, it's always 2 life. Unless you pay the color.
Like the card Dismember. Dismember is 2 Phyrexian mana and 1 colorless. Target creature gets -5/-5 until end of turn. So you could either pay it in a variety of ways, but you still at least need 1 mana of anything to fill that generic color pip to be able to cast the spell. But Dismember allows you to pay 4 life and 1 mana. You can pay 3 mana, but 2 of it has to be swamps. The choice is yours.
It's kind of like with regular color pips, the same deal applies. It can't be paid with colorless, and it has to be paid with that color.
Right. It just also has the second option of paying with life.
Okay. Right on. So now there's something. How far?
No. Saying bring it back. Bring back Phyrexian mana. Uncard 2 cowards.
Oh.
More Phyrexian mana. Not enough Phyrexian mana.
We are greedy. We want to use our life. Pay it in blood. Give me your bones. So there's another kind of mana, and I don't know if it's its own type, but I see it a lot on cards, and it's where instead of having the gray circle with a number in it, it has like an X. And I don't know if X mana is the thing. I know the X-Men is, but can you tell me about X mana?
So the X just means however much mana that you can pump into said spell. So let's take Lava Burst, for example. I believe that it was originally printed in Ice Age. It is 1 mountain X. Lava Burst deals X damage divided among, I think, however much mana you put into it. I haven't played that card in a really long time.
So basically, X is like algebra. X is however much
you deem necessary that you want to put into that spell.
Okay. So it could mean any number of things, and usually the card will tell you what you have to put into X, but it's a variable number. But it's not like its own thing.
Right. So like Sphinx's Revelation. It is, I believe it's 2 white and a blue X, and you draw X cards and gain X life, where X is the amount of mana that you paid into the X. So say you put 5 mana into the X, you get to gain 5 life and draw 5 cards.
We talked a lot about mana, and we kind of touched on this. There's a lot of talk about like mana cost, mana value. Sometimes you might hear or see people talk about CMC. So I figured we'd kind of like talk about that a little bit.
So Wizards did away with CMC. Converted mana cost isn't a thing anymore. They changed it to converted mana value because it sounds nicer.
And allegedly, according to the internet, the mana value of a spell is the total amount of mana in its mana cost, as a singular number that ignores color, hybrid mana, and other complexities.
Thank you, robot wife.
You are welcome, robot husband.
Boop beep boop boop. Deep boop
bop.
boop.
Beep deep boop bop. So here's my one question, and you're gonna think that it's kind of weird.
Well, I just think that you're weird, so it's fine.
Well, that's not what I meant. There's a card that gets played a lot on a lot of these other YouTube channels that we like to watch, and I've always been really confused by how it works because it's used a lot in Commander and used a lot as a partner, and they use it for red, but its casting cost is 0.
Referring to our Lord and Savior Rograk? Rograk? Son of Rograk?
Sure. I think some of the cool kids call him Roger. Yeah, I'm just real confused how a card that the casting cost is 0, like it has the gray circle and it has a 0 in it. You don't pay any mana for it. You can just put it from your hand onto the battlefield. How in the hell is it red?
Tell that he is read by his color identifier.
Okay, so what's that?
It is a little red circle next to his creature box.
Oh, okay.
Creature, like, type text line.
So they use that color identifier, color indicator, whatever.
Yeah.
As a way of saying, like, you didn't pay any mana into this, but Homeboy's red. So we've talked about mana, what it is, what the different kinds of mana are. I feel like it's important to talk about what the colors do. Being, new to the game, when you read any sort of like discourse or discussion or anything about cards or like what they do, what people wish that they did, oftentimes you'll hear things like, well, it can't do that because that's not in White's color chart. You have like green expectations under blue or something like it's always brought up like that each color has its own thing. I feel like it's important for us to talk about the colors and like kind of what they do, what their vibes are, the overall cut of their jib. Are the vibes on? Are the vibes on a dimmer switch where you can adjust it?
You can adjust the vibes.
Yeah. Do you want light vibes? Do you want like medium vibes? So kind of keeping that in mind where, people talk about what the colors do and kind of what their vibes are. I was doing some research for this episode and come to find out there's actually like a reason for that. Did you know that?
I did not.
So I guess there's something called a color philosophy when it comes to the Wooburgs, and it is like the vibes and the flavor of the color to help the lore of the game interact with what the cards actually do. So there actually is a reason, which I did not know.
Flavor, like barbecue sauce, teriyaki.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. The sauce. So I feel like we could talk about the color philosophy and then talk about like what the colors do, their archetypes and their vibes, and we can see like how this matches up. Let's go through the color philosophy of each color and talk about what those colors do and see kind of how well they match up.
That sounds great.
Okay, so we want to go in Wooburg order?
I would love to go in Wooburg order.
Perfect, sounds great. White. The color philosophy for white is peace, law, structure, selflessness, and equality.
That's very interesting. I did not know that. When I think of when I think white, I think of I would describe them more towards like maybe their like mechanics or like their little things in their cards that they're known for, I guess, which respectively is those things. I just think of Magic cards more than these words.
Okay, that makes sense. So what are some of the mechanics for white?
A lot of like enchantment removal. I think a lot of like really small creatures, like little guys. Unless they're angels, then they're some big old fellas.
Yeah, angels is a big thing in white. Damage prevention and life gain. You from hurting me, anything that's stopping you from hurting my stuff, gaining life.
Taxing effects.
Yeah, and rules like you can't do this or you can't do this unless you pay. We talked about the small creatures.
Yeah, smaller friends like a savanna lions.
Yeah.
Or a Esper sentinel.
Just little babies.
Or camel.
So you mentioned enchantment destruction or removal, and I think of also artifact
Yes,
destruction.
It has a lot of both.
Yeah. Anything that like adds balance or uniformity, something that kind of does something across the board, you know? So like Armageddon, it's destroying all the lands.
Quite rude, but acceptable.
Wrath of God, it's destroying all the creatures.
Ravages of War.
I don't know what that one does off the top of my head.
It destroys all lands also.
It's like the balance and uniformity of it is that it's not just getting rid of somebody else's stuff, it's getting rid of everyone's stuff, including yours.
Well, you could even talk about the card balance.
Oh, yeah. But I wouldn't know that one off the top of my head.
It puts everyone at an even playing field, basically.
Another thing that that White's like really good at is almost kind of like a prevention. Like, I'm not gonna let you. I don't want to get hurt, so I'm not going to let you hurt me.
Right.
You cannot attack me.
You could say that you put up your sphere of safety.
I know that one. But like things that keep you from getting attacked, things that keep people from being able to cast spells, any sort of like, you know, the best offense is a good defense kind of vibe.
Toughness.
Yeah. Definitely big.
Bonkers for days.
Yeah, just huge butts. Also really good at just like general defense. So if I can't stop you from attacking me, what I could do is like, if you attack me, I can destroy your creature that is trying to attack me. Or if I'm trying to attack you, I can destroy your creature that's blocking my attack or something like that. White's also like really good at combat. And I don't know if that's because they have a lot of like soldiers or knights or whatever in it, but like they're very good at combat.
As it's called, the white weenies get really aggressive really fast.
So I feel like white is a really interesting color.
It's got good flavor. Not have card draw, which was primarily a really big blue thing. So white was really lacking in that for a really long time. So white was kind of deemed a really bad, not a really bad color, but more of like on the worst end of stuff, just because, especially in the regards of mono-colored, because you couldn't draw yourself more cards. But now, in today's standards, I'd say that white's getting up there. White's getting pretty good. It's been taking me back to my original days of Magic. It's one of the first decks I ever built was like a white weenies deck. Had like my Rock's Faith Menders and my Sarah Avatars and Sarah Angels, all that fun stuff. Just all things white.
Things white. So now that we've talked about white, it's probably the next Wooberg's turn.
The U in Wooberg stands for blue.
Just love blue.
Because you wouldn't want it to be Wooberg. Wooberg.
WBBRG coming at you live and on the radio. So there's blue. And blue, its color philosophy is knowledge, deceit, caution, deliberation, and perfection.
You say all those nice fancy words. When I think of blue,
You say potato, and I say potato.
immediately think of 3 spells in my brain. One of them being Ancestral Recall.
Drawing cards.
Yeah. Drawing cards. Number 2, Counterspell.
I say no. Denied. No thanks. You wanted to do something? Sorry about that.
Pasta, baby.
Rip Bozo. You may not.
Plus ratio.
You can't do it.
And I would say the other thing that reminds me of blue is milling cards.
Oh, okay. What's milling?
So milling is when you have to put cards from your library directly into your graveyard. So like, say, Thought Scour. Target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard, and you get to draw a card. You putting those 2 cards into your graveyard is milling.
Okay. What are some other blue things? Because I definitely think of like, shout out to our buddies at Play to Win, whose episode this week, not the week that you're watching it, but the week that we're recording it, just did a podcast about bounce spells. Now, not all the spells that were talked about were blue, but a lot of them were. So like returning, you wanted to cast something? Nope. Instead of
Hand.
put it back in your hand. Oh, you had something on the battlefield? Nope.
Pick it up.
Pick it up. Taking extra turns for sure. Shout out to our buddy Carl, who plays a mono blue deck in Commander.
All about taking extra turns.
So many turns. We love him. Just not when he takes 75 turns in a row. Just kidding. Something that I think about with blue too is like mimicry or morphing.
Clone effects.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So like your Phyrexian metamorph, your undercover operative, things where you're like making a creature, but it's not its own guy. It can be whatever you want it to be. That's already out on the battlefield. It just doesn't even have to be yours. So if you have something that I like, and I don't have one or I can't have one, and I just want to do that and be like, okay, that's what this is. He just wears like a paper bag over his head, write Kin and Bonner Prodigy on it. There's also ones for like artifacts too, like copy artifact. Oh, I don't have one of those in my deck. I will take your mana crypt, please. So,
Absolutely.
in the same kind of line of like copying your stuff, blue also lets me like steal your shit. I can also take your stuff and I can tap it or untap it or do it on my own stuff. So, you want to attack me? No, you may not.
Blue also is what I think about when I think about artifacts too. Primarily, like usually artifacts are colorless, right? You know, they don't inherently do blue things necessarily, but when I think of like artificers and artificers, not artificers,
Artifact fisherman.
yes. I was trying to think of a fish artifact pun, but my brain went numb.
There's also like a lot of fuckery in blue, like some real cheeky stuff. Like
It's just a real cheeky color.
I'm gonna. Oh, you think I'm attacking you with this? Wha-bam! Now I'm not. Oh, you think that I'm?
Were you referring to ninjutsu?
Sure was. We'll definitely tell the people about that later, but I was. Or even things like,
Sphinxes. Unesh. I think about Unesh a lot.
what does Unesh do?
Whenever you cast a Sphinx, you get to Factor Fiction, which is you take the top 5 cards of your library and you show them to target opponent, and they choose to put the cards into 2 piles, and you get to choose one of the piles and put it in your hand, and the other one goes in the graveyard, I believe.
My favorite colors in and out of Magic is black, and it's got power, sacrifice, self-interest, death, and uninhibitedness.
Death.
Insert heavy metal scream that I can't do here. So when you think of black and its mechanics, what do you think of?
So I think of first card off the top of my head is definitely Ad Nauseam. Just because it's just such a black card in my opinion. It's that risk for reward kind of thing.
And you're paying life to do
Right,
it.
that risk for reward, because like you could just easily kill yourself with it, just as easy as you could win the game with it. I also think of the second card that comes up is Dark Ritual. This one's for those old school players out there, but I also think of Hypnotic Spectre when I think of black, just because it combos really well back in the day with Dark Ritual.
Yeah, it's almost like you're making deals with the devil kind of thing, like sacrificing to
Demonic Tutor,
my consultation,
Grave Pact,
Grim Tutor. Grim Tutor. Toot toot.
Vampiric Tutor. Oh, Singir Vampire. That one's a big one.
There's also a lot of like creature destruction, right? Like I am killing your stuff. I am
Damnation.
Yeah, I'm killing your stuff. I'm killing everyone's stuff. I'm
Lots of sacrifice stuff. Plague Crafter.
Yeah, like I'm telling you that you have to willingly throw your friends into the fire, as it were, making your stuff die indirectly. I'm sucking all the toughness out of it and it dies. I'm you want to hit me? Okay, cool. I'm going to block it. And my creature has death touch. Yeah. So now your thing, like, it doesn't matter if your thing was bigger because it's gonna die too. Another thing other than death touch that that happens a lot is a lot of the vampires have lifelink. So it's like I'm literally like sucking the blood out of you.
Oh, zombies. Crawler and Carrion Feeder. One time.
Yeah, the zombies are definitely like, there's like a lot of necromancy. Like it's very much like
Necrobotans.
Old school, like fantasy world, wizardy kind of stuff. Like
Black really is Shadow Money Wizard Gang.
Love casting spells.
We love casting spells.
But like a lot of the things that go to your graveyard, you can cast them again.
Animate.
Can unearth things. I can extort things and cast spells to suck the life out of you. If I have some zombies out, I can cast zombies from my graveyard. Like it's definitely like that making deals with the devil, kind of like I'm working with the demons.
Brands. It's a real cool one. Razaketh, the foul-blooded.
And there's also like a lot of, again, like occult ties too. So there's a lot of things like reading the bones and stuff like that where you're
Witchcrafty. anything.
Yeah, like I'm gonna draw cards, but then you have to discard cards.
Another black creature, Tergrid. Tergrid. I'm not doing this on purpose. I do not know how to pronounce the card.
Is an R.
Tergrid.
Tergrid. There's not a vowel other than the E. So if it was like T-I-E or T-E-R, it would be tier. But it's just E-R, so it's ter.
So it's not Tergrid or Tegrid, it's Tergrid.
Yes. Tergrid. Cameron. The color philosophy for red is probably the one that I understand the least, because honestly, when I think about red and the things that it does, I do not understand this particular philosophy.
Skate fast, eat ass.
Fast, eat trash. It's freedom, emotion, action, impulse, and destruction.
Primarily for like their creature type. Just fast, little hasty little guys that can create really big board states really fast.
Aggressive.
Really aggressive cards.
Usually the card color where the creatures have haste, where as soon as you cast them, they are ready to go.
Ready to rumble.
And just like damage in and of itself.
Lightning bolt.
Yeah, isn't that where the slang burn comes from? Is it's just like punches? Yeah. There's also like there's some artifact destruction, like a braid.
Shattering spree.
Land destruction.
Destruction's a big one. Stone rain is the one that comes to mind.
Only are the creatures in red like already aggressive because they come out the gate like ready to fight. They also have some like battle tactics too that really add to their punches. They're gonna hit you before you can hit them. They're gonna hit you twice. They're ready to go out the gate. You want to cast anything else? I'm gonna make my stuff bigger. I'm gonna make my dragons go all over you, like just very aggressive. So outside of like the aggression and the burn, there's also a lot of fuckery with red, but unlike blue, where it's like here's 1+1 fuckery. I have a thing, or you have a thing, and I would like to make my own thing. Red's like, fuck it, we're doing it live.
Red's mantra definitely feels like fuck it, we'll do it live. I think of Possibility Storm.
Yes. Or wheels, Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Misfortune,
Wheel of Fate.
Just anything that is wild and random and crazy. You want to, if I'm gonna cast a spell, I'm gonna cark it. I'm gonna flip coins and copy it.
That soldier boy.
You.
I also think of Storm and like casting a whole bunch of like spells, like grape shotting out my opponent. Underworld Breach. I think of Underworld Breach. Red is also kind of like artificery, kind of deals with like artifacts and stuff, like your Goblin Welder and Slowback is a new goblin that came out in All Will Be One.
Red really revels in the randomness, and that was a beautiful alliteration, and I loved it very much. But it doesn't want to like do things to give it advantage. It doesn't want to make copies of your things or make you get rid of your own stuff. It just says, okay, here's how we'll bring balance to the Force in red. Everything's going to be fucking insane.
Red's primary tutor, right? Like gamble. You search your library for a card, put it in your hand, and then you have to discard a card at random.
Yeah, it could be the thing that you literally gambled for. Rolling dice, flipping coins, shuffle up and deal. I mean, truly, fuck it, we ball. All right, so last up on the Woobergs is green. And green's color philosophy is very much in line with what you're going to think about with green, like what it does. You've got your nature, your wildlife, connection, spirituality, and tradition.
So when I think of green, I think of cards like Rampant Growth, Farseek, Three Visits, Life from the Loam, Crop Rotation, my all-time favorite Magic the Gathering card, Birds of Paradise. Just lots of mana ramp, lots of really big dummy thick creatures.
Just the biggest bozos.
Apex Devastator.
Oh, what's that one dinosaur that's like a 10/10? It's like something Asaurus. Trampulus? No.
No idea.
It's like 5 green pips. It's a fucking 10/10.
I think it's Gigantosaurus Rex.
So you have a lot of ways to get mana in green, whether it's going through your library and finding more sources of mana, your mana dorks. When it talks about in the philosophy of like nature, it definitely makes sense for a lot of the creatures that you have, because you've got tons of stuff that would live in a forest. Spiders, dinosaurs, which I guess wouldn't necessarily live in a forest.
Elementals.
The caridids.
Insects. Exploration. Burgeoning. Just lots of stuff that lets you get extra lands and outpace your opponent so you can play these really big, really catastrophic, like, creatures and stuff.
It's like, yeah, this creature is huge and it costs so much mana to be able to cast it, but green also gives you the tools to be able to go and get the mana, or to use your friends that you already have to make mana to pay for these big old boys.
Right, exactly. I also think of trample when I think of green.
Yeah, absolutely. You can block. I'm still gonna punch you in the face.
Right. Like, all your creatures are just big terra stompers. They're just big old boys with haste, or with trample, and you don't care about them little guys that your opponent's got.
Right. And they also are making more creatures. They're making creature tokens that are just extra little friends, making extra little bugs.
Also got the like lots of 1/1 counters, like, type of stuff, like beefing up your guys.
Yeah. Pump effects. You're adding +1/+1 counters to your creatures. You're casting spells that will make them bigger for a turn. Green also has a lot of those like fighting spells.
Green's lacking on creature removal. Green's really good at destroying like artifacts and enchantments and things like that. But really the only creature removal in green that I think of off the top of my head is Plummet.
They have a lot of ways to counteract a lot of the other battle types. Like, they're going to punch you, and then if you tried to block it, they're going to hit you for the rest with trample. Oh, you had a flyer?
Spider's gonna 619 your fucking angel. Green is objectively the best color in Magic the Gathering, in my opinion.
Would you like to tell the folks at home why it's the best color?
I will be right back.
This is why. Because the glorious Mark Poole gave us this handsome fellow and his friends.
You think that green is the best color if you removed Birds of Paradise from the pool?
Negative.
So it's all strictly based on the boy.
Based on the Magic card that wasn't supposed to exist in the first place.
That's also
Mark
very true.
Poole originally made this art for, I believe it was Volcanic Island? It was either Volcanic Island or Trop. Well, yeah, but I also think that He was doing it for Tropical Island.
Shout out to Mark Poole.
Shout out to Mark Poole.
Mark Poole.
We love Mark Poole.
He's a great fucking guy, that Mark Poole.
He actually is. He's a really nice guy. I try and chat with him a little bit when I see him at events and stuff when I'm getting my 400th copy of Birds of Paradise signed.
So if you ever see Pez at an event, the best way to just make his day, just talk about birds. Or just like high five. Birds. So that's like the vibes for each color individually, specifically, singularly, right? But there are so many cards in Magic that have more than one color. Do a little Hannah Montana.
A little best of both worlds.
So the crazy thing about all the color combos is that they actually have names. And this is the thing that is most important for us to go over. Selfishly because of me. Because it is the one thing that I have the most trouble with.
Names are hard. Remembering all the names in things is hard.
Why would they have names? Like, I've been playing for like a year. Why would I think that it was any other thing other than the two colors? Like, why would it have its own name?
It has its own name because of the Guilds of Ravnica.
Well, of course there's fucking lore.
The lore. They have names because of lore.
Lore.
The Lorax.
So, would you like to play a game? So, because this is the thing that I struggle with the most, we're gonna play a little
pop quizzy.
quizzy. We're gonna play Does Oblivion Know? And usually the answer is kind of.
Perhaps.
I might. So, looking at, we're just right now, right this second, talking about two color combos. One color and another color.
Right.
Okay.
Like, for instance, what is white and blue called?
Azorius.
White and blue is called Azorius. What is blue and black?
Blue and black is Demir.
Ding, ding, ding. Blue and black is Demir. You're
Two, baby.
2 for 2, right? That's 100% right now if we just stopped.
Yeah, but we can't.
Black and red.
Rakdos.
Rakdos is correct. Red and green.
This is nope, I got it. It's Gruul.
It is Gruul.
Oh baby. I swear, like, I'm not looking, I'm really trying to remember.
I'm very impressed right now because you usually fuck these up really bad. You're welcome. I love you.
I love you too.
What
Ouch.
is green and white?
What were the colors again?
Green and white.
Selesnya.
Ding, ding, winner, winner, chicken dinner.
So happy.
Right, you got 5 more.
We're gonna get to the 3 colors and I'm gonna fuck it up so bad.
You are.
Please
No
be
faith.
please be impressed with me in my current state, friends, and not where I'm gonna end up.
White and black.
Oh, Orzhov, that's my favorite.
Absolutely. Blue and red.
Is it?
Are you sure? Is it?
Yeah. Is it Boilerworks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, is it? Oh, huh.
Yes, correct. Black and green.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Golgari.
Correct. Red and white.
Boros.
Yes. You got one left.
Oh,
One left.
so
And
much
it's
pressure. Is it?
Yeah. Green and blue.
Green and blue?
Green and blue.
It's not Simic. Is it Simic?
You did it.
I did.
You got all 10 of them correct.
Oh my gourd.
So, to reiterate, that white and blue is Azorius, blue and black is Dimir, red and black is Rakdos, red and green is Garul, green and white is Selesnya, white and black is Orzhov, blue-red is Izzet, black and green is Golgari, red and white is Boros, and green and blue is Simic.
I genuinely cannot believe that I got all 10 of those right. And I know that I prefaced this with saying that I'm really bad at this, but there are more to come. Because the 3 colors, I think I know 2 off the top of my head. Just briefly thinking about it, I think I'm going to have 2. So, please save your applause because you will probably not want to give any of it here in the next 2 minutes.
Moving on to 3 color combinations, starting with the Alara shards. Green, white, blue.
I hate the way that you're looking at me right now because the face that you're giving me is like, oh, I know that she does not know this.
No, I'm looking at you like this because I know you should know it because I play this color combination. It's Chulane, baby.
I know, but what I call Chulane, White Kinnan.
I call Chulane White Kinnan.
Well, then I started calling him White Kinnan because it's not what I want to say is what I don't think is right.
Just let it out.
Is it Jund?
No. Every single one of these, you will always think that it is Jund. Every single one of them.
Please don't tell them that. It's true, but don't say it.
So apparently the only 3 color combination, even if there are other colors, it's just Jund them out. Just Jund them out, baby. Would you like another try? Green, white, blue.
Can you use it in a sentence?
It rhymes with ant.
Oh. Bant.
It is Bant. White, blue, black.
Oh. Esper.
You got
This
that
is
one.
my favorite. That's my favorite 3-color combo. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I know this one. Bang, bang, bang.
Blue, black, and red. It is not Jund.
I'm sorry. The way that you immediately it's not Jund. You saw my brain turn and is it Jund?
This is why I said earlier she thinks that everything is Jund.
Blue, black, and red.
Blue, black, red.
Can I get its origin?
Alara.
No, I mean a clue.
Starts with a G.
Oh, is it is it Grixis?
It is Grixis. What is black, red, and green? Excuse me.
Sorry. Can you repeat that?
Black, red, green.
It be the is it is it Jund?
It is Jund.
Oh, okay. Black and red and green is Jund. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's not fair. You put it in the middle because then at the end I would know automatically. Like, you actually tested me on that, and I somewhat appreciate and somewhat do not appreciate that.
Red, green, and white.
Mm, can I do a 50-50?
No, because you only have one. Wait. No.
I'm just meaning, like, can I have a clue?
It has two A's in its name. It has two A's. It sounds like the thing that cats do in animes, the Nyan cat.
Oh. That was... I can't say it's a stupid clue because I think it helped me get it. But is it Naya?
It is Naya.
Okay.
Bant is green, white, blue. Esper is white, blue, black. Grixis is blue, black, red. Jund is green, black, red. And Naya is green, red, white. So now we're on to Tarkir. What is white, black, green? Not Jund.
I know that... Okay, I don't actually know that it's not Jund. I only know that it's not Jund because I already said Jund. Jund is black and red and green.
There you go.
Oh, did I get it right?
Yeah.
Sick. Okay, wait, we're black, red, black, white, green?
Black, white, green.
Okay. Can I get a clue?
It starts with an A.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Is it Asban?
Abzan.
Abzan. Okay. But I had the right idea.
Right. Blue, red, white. America. Red, white, and blue.
That is... Eagle. Caw. Okay, can I have a clue?
Starts with a J.
It's not Jund.
It is not Jund.
Oh, okay. Is it, Jeskai?
It is Jeskai. Black, green, blue. Starts with a S. Rhymes with multi.
Sultai.
It is Sultai.
There is one that I do know.
Is that the next one coming up?
I don't know.
It is red, white, and black.
Yes, that one is Mardu.
It is Mario. The very last one. Green, blue, red. Rhymes with femur.
Oh, Teamer. Team?
So to go over those once more, white, black, and green is Abzan. Blue, red, and white is Jeskai. Black, green, and blue is Sultai. Red, white, and black is Mardu. And green, blue, and red is Timur.
So that was a total of how many different combinations between the two sets? 10?
20.
20. Okay.
There's 5 in each one. Wait. 10.
So I was 10 for 10.
You were 10 for 10 on the first one.
Yeah.
There's-
Overall, though, I'm 12 out of 20, which is like.
Failing.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm proud of you for remembering all of the 2 colors.
That's better than it was.
Yeah, it was. And you didn't call any of the 2 colors Jund, so that was fantastic.
I can't even be mad because I know that you're like razzing me and giving me hell,
I am razzing you.
but you're also being so ungodly truthful right now.
I am. And that's the funny thing. Is just everything was just Jund. Everything. Mono color. Like, hey man, what are you playing? It's like mono white. It was like, ah, cool. Jund.
Okay, it was not that bad, sir. So we've got our twosies. We've got our threesies. Does the 4-color combos, do they have a name? Or do they just say, like, not this color?
I think the easiest way for newer people is to just say the color that it's missing.
Like, if it was white, blue, black, and red.
I'd just be like, I'm playing all these colors, but not green.
So you say, like, sans green.
For me, the 4 colors go off of these creatures that came out in... So it's like Glint Eye, Yortiller, Nephilim. They all came out in Guild Pact. Maybe not all of them, but I think most of them came out in Guild Pact. So I associate the 4 colors with those creatures. White, blue, black, and red is Yortiller. Blue, black, red, and green is Glint Eye. Black, red, green, and white is Dune Brood. Not to be confused with Dude Bro. Red, green, white, and blue is Ink Treader. And green, white, blue, red is Witchmaw.
On it.
Which sounds absolutely gangster.
It does, like...
Yortiller, Glint Eye, Dune Brood, Ink Treader, and Witchmaw? That sounds sick.
It sounds like the coolest, like, fantasy gang.
Yeah, I'm a part of the Ink Treaders.
I feel like we've said really all that there is to say about mana and colors, the color wheel. I have managed to fully embarrass myself on the names of things, and we will see if I can remember what the fuck Jund is in the morning. We would like to thank you so much for watching, and
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for watching.
we truly do appreciate any time that you spend watching our content or
Commenting, sharing, interacting with us.
for those of you who are interested in assisting us in a different way, we do have a Patreon. You can find us at patreon.com/GrimTutorsMTG or use the link in the description below.
You can follow us at our socials on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. The Bird.
Bird is the word.
And
Grim-
YouTube.
We're watching this on YouTube.
And YouTube.
Grim Tutors MTG.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Hello and welcome to the Grim Tutors, your one-stop shop for all things Magic the Gathering. I'm Colton, also known as Pez.
And I'm Oblivion. So, what are we talking about today?
The Wheel.
The wheel.
Not
The wheel that the caveman built.
And not the Wheel of Fortunes.
for the
One that goes on your car.
It took you. That's the same wheel, basically, as the caveman built.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope. Birch. Yep. All right. Wait. Oh.
Oh yeah, burped out two fucking knockers and better dip down some Diet Coke.
When it comes out your nose, it tastes like vomit.
I'm glad we got that on camera.